everybody. Welcome to a special episode of the Commute podcast. We're doing another destination episode. Today we are going to the Painted Stave in Smyrna, Delaware. That's a distillery, and I'm pretty excited.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I wanted the next one to be like a drinking one.
Oh, yeah.
Rather than hot, sweaty yoga.
I'd rather be dizzy from drinking. But no, I've never been to a distillery. I always wanted to.
Yeah, the only one I've ever been to was the Glen Grant Distillery for Scotch. When we were in Scotland, and it was cool, but it was like the touristy thing to do, you know.
Yeah.
Just in and out. It was a big distillery too, so you couldn't possibly see everything.
Oh, so you didn't even get the full tour?
Not really. I mean, you kind of went through it, and they showed you some, the show pieces, and then they gave you a shot, and then sent you on your way.
One shot?
Yeah. That was it.
You got a whole tour for one shot?
Yeah, one shot, and then
I'll take a tour of a liquor store and buy a bottle.
Well, that's where they dropped you off at the
end of the tour.
They dropped you off at the store.
That's the Disney World for adults?
Exactly. Like, that's where it empties out.
Oh, look. Stuff to buy.
Yeah.
I'll take
I did, because, you're in
Oh, yeah, you got to do it. They know you're going to do it, so.
Yeah, so I got one of the bottles that are like, it was like the cask strength stuff that they can only sell at the distillery. So that was kind of cool. And
so if it's, was there no limits if you buy it at the distillery?
Yeah, there wasn't any limit to like alcohol percent by volume or anything else. And this stuff was like taken right from the cask during like whatever distillation, like you could pick which distillation you wanted to take it from, and supposedly this had the most flavor or whatever, so that was the cask strength.
Was it good?
Yes. It was amazingly good.
Nice.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to this.
Yeah, they make a couple different types of liquor here.
Yeah, they've got vodka, gin, and a corn whiskey.
Corn,
I know. I have faith.
It's got to be better than the corn whiskey we tried.
Yeah, it's not going to come in a mason jar. I have faith that it's not going to come in a mason jar.
Yeah, we thought it was a good idea last year for the end of Boardwalk Empire for the finale to buy a mason jar of corn whiskey to celebrate, and not so good.
So I need to turn. I'm used to the regular beaten trail we go down.
So we're gonna go in, talk to them, take a tour of the place. They were super cool enough to. They're not even open today, and they're gonna open their doors for us, give us a private tour. So right off the bat, these are cool guys. So I'm pretty excited. I'm pretty stoked.
Yeah, it'll be awesome. The outside of the building looks.
Oh, it's gorgeous.
Cool as shit.
It's gorgeous. It was run down before this, closed up. It was a movie theater at one point.
Yeah.
Then it was a hardware shop.
Hardware shop. Okay.
And then it was shut down, and they just took it over and
refurbed the whole thing.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta check it out. It's gorgeous in day and gorgeous at night. You gotta check it out. We'll have pictures of both, but they really did a nice job. And that's just from the outside.
Yeah.
That's why I can't wait to see the inside of the place.
Yeah. I saw a couple pictures from the inside that they
like on their website.
And all. Yeah, it looks really cool.
All right, well, here we are. So let's go to it. We'll see us inside.
Mike Rasmussen from Painted Stave Distilling, one of the owners.
Ron Gomes, Painted Stave Distilling.
What kind of local ingredients go into your process?
Well, a variety of things, really. So we're working with a local farm up in Townsend to grow a number of the botanicals that we use in our gin, with the goal of trying to get, we hope we can get over 80% of the botanicals that we need in our gin to be in there. And then it's also fun to have a local kind of farm who's growing other things. We sit down and talk about, hey, wouldn't it be neat to make this? What are you growing that we could possibly use for that?
Yeah.
And then actually one of the reasons why we picked Smyrna for the location here is access to grains. So the corn whiskey that we just released, our latest product, all that corn comes from Legacy Farms about 2 miles down the street from here.
Oh, nice.
That's really cool.
And in the long run, we hope to be able to, by working with some of the farmers, be able to source the vast majority of our grains, and then fruit and all of those things from here in Delaware.
So that's cool. You can like go right through them. You don't have to work through any
Yeah, absolutely. They
distributor or any kind of
they drop it off in their pickup truck. And,
That's awesome.
Yeah, pick up.
Yeah.
So you kind of start with them as to what they have, and they
Yeah.
can figure out what you're going to make.
Yeah, and then there's some things that we.
It goes both ways.
Yeah, there's a little. I mean, if we can find something to work with, then chances are you can make booze out of it.
Yeah.
There will be some things that we have to source and be a little bit more specific about. Malted barley is one of those.
Yeah.
But there is a small malt house that's gotten started just up in Pennsylvania that we're working with to source some specialty malts and grains and
nice.
stuff. So trying to keep it as local as possible.
Yeah.
The other main ingredient that you neglected was water.
Yeah, yeah.
We have wonderful water here in town.
Yep.
And that was also another reason why, another attraction for us here, relative to other places we were looking. So we tested the water, and right out of the spigot here in town, it's pretty good for our needs.
Really?
Yeah.
So, and that's important for everybody to know. Anybody that's
You have good
curious
drinking
about
water.
Yeah,
I mean, that's
good enough to make booze.
yeah. If you're
also
if you're gonna use
saw-
it in that distilling process, it's got to be pretty.
You have, you were recycling the water? I saw on the
We
website.
recapture, reutilize a lot of our water. The goal there is to be environmentally conscious wherever possible. And so when we rebuilt this facility to allow us to do what we want to do here, we tried wherever we could to pay attention to those things and try to incorporate them into the bill. So our cooling water, for instance, is in a loop. So it's a closed loop.
Okay.
And we use that to condense back the vapor into alcohol. All that water throughout the course of a run of a day could be a lot of water that we could put down the drain. But we have a system that allows us to capture and reutilize it.
That's awesome.
And
That's
so
cool.
we're not putting all that vital resource.
Yeah, I saw the glorious pictures of the barrel installation.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, yeah. One of some of our finer moments of construction right there.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Well, the town's been great. So, the town let us do that, and we told the town that we would make it less of an eyesore. It's a big blue tank.
Yeah.
5,500 gallons.
But put the wood around it.
Yeah.
It looks really
we
nice.
said we would make it, less of an eyesore. So that was our version of less of an eyesore.
Yeah, to me, I mean, that looks like a classic thing to add to a building like that. I mean, that's character to, a structure like this, especially downtown. You got a lot of foot traffic depending on what's going on.
Yep.
And it's anything that adds character to like
Yeah.
an old building like that.
Yeah,
is-
absolutely.
And our initial strategy is to really grow our home base. We really want to have a nice, solid support here.
Spread the word, and then when
can
people
relate to
move, it's like, hey, we don't have that now. We have to have that up there.
Yeah, we want a solid base, and then we'll start to branch out. We have interest. I have friends, family, investors in Colorado, California, Seattle. They've all tasted the product. They would love to be able to have it there. I have friends in New York with some connections to liquor stores that are interested. So
And we get lots of people in from Baltimore, DC, Philadelphia, who, so I think the strategy will be get really well here in Delaware and then try and be strategic and kind of, start to get out into some of the markets where we think products like ours would be accepted and kind of embraced.
That's the other good thing. I mean, it's a great destination. You've got
we hope
a great space here.
We
It's
hope that's
fantastic.
We hope to have created a destination distillery. We want people to come in.
Yeah.
When they go down to the beach for vacations, or when they traveling through Delaware for other tourism options.
Sure.
Or in the region.
Yeah.
This is on the map. So we'll walk you through some tastings. I don't know. I'll do a couple. Maybe Mike can do a couple. We do this a little differently. I think we captured the same kind of that message though. But a little bit about our labels. So I think as people come here, I think they might want to know what are our labels about, and how and why do we come up with the concepts that we then put forth on a bottle. I think our Silver Screen label, our Silver Screen vodka, is one of our first products we developed. It's pretty self-explanatory, but we celebrate our building here with this label. So this is all about, you know, for lack of a better term, I guess, an ode to our movie theater roots here in celebrating our building. On the back of our label, and you'll find this on all of our labels, there's a little copy here that Mike and I put together. And in this case, Silver Screen, the brand is all about celebrating what it's like to go see a movie on the big screen, you know, especially something you want to see. You know, Godzilla's coming out, and I'm so taken back to my childhood. And my daughter, 7 years old, saw that the other day. She goes, "I want to go," and I'm like, "Oh, can she go see that?" Yeah, sure. That might be our first father-daughter, you know, kind of big blockbuster movie. But you know, that will be captivating. It'll have you on the edge of your seat. It might have you reliving some of your childhood past memories from watching Godzilla on television. But we use that analogy to describe Silver Screen with what it's like for Mike and I to be back there making spirits, and you know, it's captivating, it's exciting. There's a little bit of mystery, like this poteen, this corn whiskey, or this whiskey that we were talking about earlier, Irish style whiskey. We don't really know where it's going to come out. So there's some mystery there, and there's some excitement. And so that's what Silver Screen vodka, you know, is celebrating. But the spirit itself is a wheat-based wheat-based vodka. And I get whiskey on the brain.
So yeah, he's hard not to.
And the goal here with this product for Mike and I was to produce a vodka that reflected the grain from, I like to say, from which it came. So in this case, it's a winter wheat vodka, and we wanted to capture wheat characteristics. So whether that be on the nose, whether that be on the palate, and we have done some of that here. So as I walk you through this tasting, what I'm going to try to do is point out a couple of characteristics that we think we're actually able to capture through this light distillation process to make our vodka. And the first one is going to be, and I'll just pour a little bit because I know you're working. The first one is going to be sweetness. So because we lightly distill and lightly filter this, we're actually able to hold on to that sweetness that is a natural quality of this grain. So you're going to find this on the front end of your palate. So what I tell people is you take just a little sip. This is not a shot. Just take a little sip, put it on the front end of your palate, front end of your tongue, and just hold it there for a mental 3 or 4 count before you slowly swallow back. And hopefully what you're left with is a little bit of sweetness. Now,
that's
I could feel it getting sweeter as it sat there.
Yeah, like citrusy, kind of, almost like a tangerine or orange or something like that is what it feels like to me.
Hey, by law you could add, if you wanted to, some citric acid to it. We don't do any of it, but the kind of the natural sweetness and the clarity of it, I think we've had folks mention it kind of lends itself towards that citrus.
Yeah, it definitely comes out. I mean, it's almost like a zest or something for a tangerine.
By doing that, it just kind of even leaves the flavor in your mouth. You know, instead of just slamming it back and not appreciating it.
That's right. And so when we walk folks through a tasting here, that's what we want to. If I use the analogy of a wine tasting, we don't want you to throw this back. We actually want to put this on different places in your palate and actually start to pull out the different flavor characteristics of the vodka, which is, or any of the spirits that we serve, which is totally different than if you're going to a bar and just having a shot.
Yeah, because that's the usual thing for vodka. Vodka, throw cranberry juice in that, you know, mix, swirl it around, and then you'd be done with it.
But even then, it's got flavor. It's got something to it. You know, a lot of your vodka is just I mean, dead almost.
A lot of people, when they think of vodka, they think is kind of the most neutral thing that you can make. Distill it a dozen times, filter it 7 times, whatever. To all of those things are intended to remove character out of it. And so what those attest to is the purity of it, which in some cases is a good thing. But there are lots of people out there who make vodka that has no flavor and nothing kind of to it. We didn't want to make that. We wanted to make vodka that maintains some character, some vodka that kind of stood up on its own a little bit. So we run it through the still with that in mind, trying to hold on to some of that character.
So our corn whiskey, which we released, this has been about 2 weeks. Celebrates Delaware history. So our Old Cooch's corn whiskey is really all about an area that Mike lives very close to, Old Cooch's Bridge. And so we have, the Revolutionary War cannon and the millstone there for the mine that's in proximity there.
The mill. Yeah,
Sorry, the mill. Thank you. So this corn whiskey, so that's the story in the back. This celebrates all our Delaware history. Again,
Because where there's a mill, there's
There's a mill, there's a still.
That's right.
Yeah.
So the corn whiskey, much like the vodka, we wanted to capture that corn essence. So this has a mash bill that has 93% or so corn.
92.7.
And 92.7% corn, and it is number 2 dent corn right here in Smyrna. I mean, it's local corn.
Nice.
Wow.
The rest is malted barley, so we get that conversion of those starches into sugar. So the goal here, much like the vodka, was to capture a whiskey that reflected that grain. And so hopefully when you nose this, you'll smell corn, you'll smell roasted corn. When you taste this, you'll get some corn sweetness on your palate. This is not our version of moonshine. This is a much more narrow.
God, I hope so. We were just saying we watched the show Boardwalk Empire.
Oh yeah.
And when the final episode came on last season, we said, let's get some corn whiskey and we'll sit around and do some shots and watch. There's something to do. So we got something from the liquor store. It's in the mason jar.
Yeah, right off the bat, it's not in a mason jar, so that's...
So I said, I'll be interested to try this to see. I hope it's not that.
No, this should not be that for you.
The response we get from a lot of people is, I didn't expect it to be smooth. But it has a lot of flavor to it, and so a lot of people they have they're either expecting fire in a bottle kind of moonshine type of stuff, or they're expecting it to taste like aged whiskey, something that has maybe spent a couple of years in a barrel.
Sure.
It's neither of those things. It is a kind of a fresh crispness that is new make whiskey. But it's not like the overpowering strength that you would think of from moonshine.
Right.
So the idea here is that it's something that we could use it in cocktails. And in place where you use whiskey in cocktails, it does very, very well. But it also is really interesting and creative in a lot of other cocktails where you might not think to use whiskey, where you might be using it in place of vodka or rum or something like that.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, because that whole thing evolves over time. I mean, the way cocktails are built, and we're discussing the way White Russian was, how that's changed over time.
Yeah, absolutely.
And gin, same thing. How that's converted through different iterations.
So nose this, and we'll see what you think.
Smells good. And is there any particular place for letting it sit in the tongue?
The same process that Ron described is usually a good kind of...
I like spreading it across the entire palate, so taking a small sip at the beginning and starting in the front and letting it work its way back so you can pull out bitter notes as well as sweet notes and everything in between. So
Much better.
Yeah.
Much better.
So this is very different than the vodka, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot more of a profile. It's
it's more hearty. Like it
keeps hitting you. Like it's getting more flavor even just after I swallowed it. Like it's
get more of the corn.
Exactly.
Resolve.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
Yeah.
And production process for making whiskey. The front end, you're doing the same thing. You're converting starches into sugars and then fermenting those sugars. But in order to make a corn whiskey, it has to be distilled at below 80% alcohol, so 80% or 160 proof and below. What that pretty much guarantees is that you're going to maintain a lot of character to it, compared to something like vodka that's distilled at 95% alcohol, which is very, very pure just to begin with. So it's just that the difference in the production process yields a different character. But but by keeping it close to 80% when we're distilling it, we can call it whiskey, but we can also not make it so it's just really rough, kind of gruff spirit.
That's good. It's got some heat to it, but there's flavor coming out on top of it.
But this is a little different than what you would put in a barrel.
Yeah.
So this particular product, so that when we pull this off the still, we recognize that it's not going in the barrel. So some of those things that we might have left behind to soften in a barrel over a span of 2, 3 plus years, whatever it takes, we pull those out. So we wanted to have something that once we bottled it certainly could be tasted at the bar like this, neat.
Sure.
And then would do well in a cocktail without having all those rough edges.
So this one is our Candy Manor gin, and we talked a little bit earlier about different types of gin. So technically a dry gin, but we make what we call an American style or a Western style gin, or technically sometimes people call it contemporary. And what that really means is it's the difference between a lot of that juniper flavor as a predominant characteristic of it versus a lot of the other botanicals that are neat things. So, most gins are made with juniper and, a long list of type of things. But juniper is the thing that people think of when they taste it. And by law, you have to have juniper in your gin. Ours, we want people to notice the juniper, but we want them to notice and remember some of those other flavor characteristics. So that's what makes our gin a little bit different. Just as with the other products, the story on this one is kind of fun. So Candy Manor. It's one of these little tales that we heard, small town lore type thing when we first came to Smyrna, that the candy store a number of decades ago here in town used to sell a little bit of companionship as well as confectionaries. So
sugar with the sugar.
Yeah, exactly. So wonderful tale. I'm sure that there's plenty of truth and fiction involved.
As
in
any good story is.
Yes, of course. So and we thought, well, that would be really a kind of a fun thing, a little tongue-in-cheek of look at that. And gin is one of those great products. For the longest time, actually a lot of American history, gin was the most popular spirit that was drank in the United States. There was a time when it was rum. There was a time when it was whiskey. But that time when it was whiskey is actually pretty recent. But pre-prohibition, through prohibition, all gin was really the drink.
Oh yeah.
And so we wanted to kind of play with that a little bit and have a bit of fun with it. And this one, actually, we're very excited. This one won a silver medal at the San Francisco World Spirits Competition.
Wow, really?
Oh, congratulations.
So for our first, right out of the gate, we hoped that we had something interesting. We didn't kind of expect to win anything, but very excited to kind of win a silver for that.
Fantastic.
That is great.
Yeah.
And that was just this year?
Yeah, yep, 2014, about a month ago.
Hey, we don't even have the medal yet.
Yeah. So
It's in the mail somewhere.
Yeah, though we did get all the little stickers. So.
Yeah. It's still in that box.
Yeah. Amazon will show up with that someday. What you're going to notice when you taste this one, and using the same kind of process, a little sip in the front of your tongue is where you're going to likely pick up some of the juniper and the peppery flavor, juniper and coriander. Towards the middle of your tongue, you'll find a little bit of kind of citrusy, almost maybe minty characteristics. We don't use mint in this, and we don't use any citrus, but we do use lemon balm, which kind of has both of those flavors in it.
Sure.
And then I think what most people find to be the most pronounced is lavender. There's a lot of lavender in the nose and in the finish on this.
That's where it hits you. It was on the tongue. It was one thing.
Yep.
And when you swallowed it back, it was completely different.
Yep. And then as you try another little sip or two. One of the things that kind of sneaks in there at the end is a little hint of anise, and that actually comes from the sweet goldenrod, Delaware's state herb.
That's the goldenrod. That's what makes it.
Yep. So it gives a little bit of that licorice kind of anise flavor to it.
It almost reminds me a lot of almost like a chamomile tea, or I don't know.
Yeah, we've had folks ask if there's chamomile or. Variety of other kind of things in it. We've got a pretty simple set of stuff that we use.
That's great.
Some of them are traditional things, and then some things a little bit different, like the goldenrod and lavender. Those are two things.
It's a flavor, it's a smell, and it's a feel as well when you're taking it back. That's wow.
Yeah.
You saved me on gin.
Yeah. And then we've got a couple of our soon to be done experimental things to probably switch.
Oh, experimental.
So, a new set of cups.
Oh, you don't have to switch. But
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll use this.
There's two.
So
We're gonna turn into rats. Like, what do we got?
Yeah.
Right on these fools.
Geez, I so this is something that we've got, the ye old brown bag. We've been working with Eric Young from the Young Bean Cafe down here in Clayton.
I live
Right next door.
Oh,
Awesome.
yeah.
The house
Yeah.
next door.
Well, not
two
not
houses.
exactly next door, but yeah.
Yeah. So, well, you may
Occupied
have
house.
smelt his company or his coffee roasting.
Oh, sure. Yeah, I park right next to his coffee roaster.
Yeah, there we go. So we're working with Eric to kind of pick out a bean and a roast and
Oh,
and
cool.
a grind for this and making an espresso vodka. So it's based after his beans and our vodka and kind of an infusion of those two things.
That's a true collaboration of local
Yeah,
businesses.
absolutely.
So you get two businesses in one there
Yeah, yep.
to make something good.
Yeah, and we've had great fun. Kind of.
The top.
This one sticks a little bit. So this one will be where the label has been kind of submitted to the government for approval. So the label's not ready yet. Thus the brown bag.
Oh, the label has to get approved.
Yeah,
Yeah,
everything.
that's a whole process too.
Oh, yeah,
I mean, that's
absolutely.
kind of an interesting thing.
Yep.
The whole, you don't think about it. You think, you just design a label, throw it on a bottle. It's
Yeah.
not like that.
No, not
There's
at
a
all.
big thing that has to go through.
Yep.
Smell it.
I
Yeah.
did.
When you nose, open your mouth.
Yeah.
Because that will, so do it both ways.
Yeah,
Close your mouth.
I can
and then
tell.
open
I
your
had my
mouth.
mouth closed the first time.
You actually activate a lot more taste receptors by having your mouth open when you nose.
Wow, that's amazing.
So,
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah.
It shows that how many tastings you've been to.
Yeah.
It's a fun. This is kind of a cool collaboration. It's a little espresso.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I thought it was going to be like harsher than that, but it's.
Oh,
like,
no, that's-
It's a nice.
So the goal here, there are a number of kind of espresso vodkas or coffee vodkas on the market, and we sampled a lot of them, and what we found, for our palates is a lot of them are really just too sweet and uncoffee-like. So we said, well, if we're going to do this, let's really go after the coffee first and foremost, and that's why we spent so much time with Eric and trying to find the right bean, then the right grind, the right roast. We really did play with all those to get to this point. We wanted it to reflect the coffee first, so it'd be kind of a coffee lover's vodka.
Yeah, my wife would kill for that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that definitely is. Yeah, same with mine.
So-
It almost tastes like if you ever get the chocolate covered espresso beans and you chew them up and you get
Yep.
the flavor all over
Yeah.
your mouth.
Yep.
That's exactly what I'm tasting. Is that being? It feels like
Yeah.
it feels like I just ate one of those beans.
Yeah.
And that's great. That's great.
Yeah.
That's exactly what we're trying to capture. Now we add back a little bit of inverted sugar to balance out a little bit of the bitterness, and it also helps bring out some coffee aroma. The sugar helps bring out some of that aroma.
Yep.
Yeah.
But just a tiny bit.
Enough to do that. Not really enough to sweeten it up. We imagine the presentation on this in a cocktail, whether it be your chocolate martini or it will be some version of a mocha with this white Russian. So
Perfect for that.
Yeah, we haven't really played with cocktails, but the test marketing we've been doing here at the bar has been very positive.
No, that's going places.
I've had people offer to just buy the bag, the bottle. I take that right now. I said I can't sell it. It's totally illegal.
So that is grappa.
That's not. Oh yeah, that is cut for bottles.
That's ready to go. So it's a little bit on 37% alcohol, so 75 proof. But that's distilled from the skins and seeds and stems from the wine pressing zone at Harvest Ridge in the fall.
Pain in the butt. I don't know if we're ever gonna
so
make this
good.
again.
Oh, we will make it.
Really?
Oh, man. It's such a pain to clean the still like this. For months we were finding seeds.
See? Isn't that pretty tasty?
Yeah.
That is
Yeah, and-
fantastic.
Yeah, see?
You like that?
What a fiery asshole.
Well,
Let me try this.
Yeah. It's a pretty tasty little brandy.
I could drink that all day.
have you been down to Harvest Ridge yet?
No, we haven't been down there. It's on my list, but
Okay.
I haven't
Yeah, so
contacted them yet.
yeah, we do a lot of work with Chuck and his family, and they gave us a call one day right after we got set up and said, "Hey, we just pressed reds. You interested?
Yeah.
If you can get it here, we'll take it.
Yeah.
Little did I know it was going to take me months and months.
The stuff I had, I paid $80 for the bottle.
Ooh, yeah.
And,
Oh, you have some really nice
well,
land.
well, I tried. It was horrible. But this, it's not as hot. I mean, the stuff I had before, it was hot all the way down through your chest. Your chest was on fire after you were done. And this also has a much better taste.
Yeah. I'm pretty pleased with it. I've got some really good grappas, and I've had some pretty.
Oh no, that's good.
That's the first grappa I've had.
Yeah. Well, see, now you're ruined.
That's great.
So this is.
You can walk them.
I was just going to use the ones that I use for gin. That works well for it. So this is a real experiment because it's nowhere near. I think. Well, it may be close to production, but it's still got a ways to go.
We have submitted a formula.
We have submitted a formula for this, so we'll see. It'll be interesting to see the feedback we get when they read and wonder what the hell is Scrapple.
Scrapple, yes. Are you kidding me?
So
Now open your mouth. When
So
you do this.
this is our attempt at making what we would call Scrapple or apple scrapple vodka. So we use Scrapple as well as a lot of the herbs and the spices that go into Scrapple.
Love Scrapple.
And some apples and kind of mix it all together. And we've been playing with the recipe and get it into the still and distill it. Try and get a little bit of that meaty characteristic.
I'm trying to place a scent on it. So you're saying I'm hearing apples and Scrapple, but I don't smell either one.
There's you see if you pick it up a little bit when you taste. This is something where you're going to find a little bit more of those flavors in the taste of it. So the traditional kind of, I guess, spices and herbs that are used, a lot of sage. A lot of black pepper, caraway, some nutmeg. Those are like things that we found in a lot of recipes for Scrapple. So that's what we did is we took those and we took some Scrapple and some and apples and stuff and put it all together and put it in the still and we're like, wonder what that's going to taste like. and we're like, wow, that doesn't taste too bad.
Yeah, so it's different. It's definitely different. I'm trying to...
We're thinking that
it's like peppery.
Yeah. We think that this, if we can get this right, we'll play around with it a little bit more. It might be good for.
It's not bad. It's not bad. But I think because I heard Scrapple.
Yeah,
that's doing something up here to me.
It's a tricky. What we found is that most of the flavor in Scrapple is in the fat.
Sure.
Right? Fats, lipids are heavy molecules. You're not going to get those to travel through the distillation process very easily. So you're going to end up with some of the eau de Scrapple, the essence of Scrapple.
So the idea was to take apart one of our wine barrels you see here and reach out to area artists and see if they'd be interested in contributing to the works that you see on our walls. And the deal we brokered with the artists is that we would showcase their work here, but also down the road change out and show their own collections. So this gives us a starting point to rotate through collections. So while there are a number of amateur artists on the walls here, there are actually some professional artists represented here that have collections. And we, I don't know, in another month or two, we'll start to change out that first collection. I don't know what we'll do with the staves. We get asked all the time if they're for sale. Right now they're not. I would like to hold on to a lot of them and then just put them up elsewhere. Our bathroom walls are kind of bare, so you can see some of the staves.
Or as they come in, maybe put them back into a barrel. Get the whole collection.
Yeah, we'd have to find a cooper to do that. That would be interesting.
Okay. Yep. So what'd you think?
Awesome place.
That was a really cool place.
Yeah, dude. I don't know. I mean, awesome, operation.
Awesome people.
Yeah, friendly as anything, dude.
Awesome people.
That's what you want from...
They knew their stuff.
Well, it's clearly like a passion. It's clearly something you care about.
Exactly.
Everything they put in there is how they mean it to be,
They're about the product, not so much the money. They're about the people, the town.
Yeah, it's that. That
Everything
is
was-
what a local business is.
What was
you
your
know?
favorite thing you tried?
The grappa, I think. I mean,
Grappa was your favorite.
Yeah, it was. I don't know. I didn't know what to expect.
I have a tie
And
between the gin
It was cool.
and the coffee.
The coffee was great.
That was
too.
amazing.
Yeah, dude. The coffee, you could. That was definitely like a
And the
dessert.
gin, and look at me, I'm sitting there saying I don't do gin.
Right.
That was just so many things going on with that.
That was great. That'd be great, like a summer kind of thing. Like
Yes.
just sit down on the porch and just hanging out.
Yeah. That was fantastic. But
Yeah.
but the grappa was good. I mean, that's another thing.
Yeah,
I
dude,
drank,
I
and it's
That's like I didn't know what to expect from it, and it was. Just
yeah, it was
great.
your first
Like,
time. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd never had grappa before, but that was awesome.
I mean, theirs was almost like you could taste the grapiness.
Yeah, that was the cool thing. I mean,
The one I had before,
you
no,
could
there
tell
was
it
no
came
flavor.
from grapes.
There was
you
no
know,
grape. It came from shit. But theirs
it came
was,
from a stem.
theirs was spot on, man.
Yeah, it was,
But,
it was cool.
Yeah, I'll definitely be going back.
Mm-hmm.
So the Painted Stave
Mm-hmm.
on Commerce Street. Is that what the street is?
I guess that's Commerce Street.
In Smyrna, Delaware.
Yeah,
Check
right
them out.
on the main there.
It's the place to be. They do tours on Friday, Saturday, Sundays.
Yep.
In the evenings.
Yep. Or a special, tour too.
Yeah.
Anytime that's, stuff's not going on. But check it out, man. If you got to make the drive, that was the cool thing. It's like, I think I said it in there. It's a destination kind of place. It's like, I don't know. I mean, how people go to wineries for like tours and stuff like that because of a particular taste. That's why you would go to that place.
Sure.
I mean,
The next time they have something else that
Right.
they're making,
Yeah,
I want to go and I want to taste it. I want to
Uh-huh.
try it.
Yeah, it was really cool. Like I'd never been to a place that had that many different like spirits and stuff, like a distillery to taste different things. Usually you go, like I said before, I went to that distillery in Scotland and the Glen Grant place, and that's all it was
And that's what you tasted,
Scotch,
and that
that's
was it.
Right, you're done. But there, you can go in and it's
And you said they do.
this.
Yeah, you stop in before dinner. You want to go out to dinner, stop there first,
Yeah, try something
try
new.
some drinks. Okay, their website is paintedstave.com. So check them out, paintedstave.com. See what they're all about, and you'll probably see us there.
Yeah.
We did that story yesterday where Facebook can find out where you are most of the time.
Yeah, it's gonna
I think
start
it's,
pointing
yeah,
us out.
it's gonna be down the street a little bit.
Yeah, I looked
Sheridan's
mine up,
there.
man. Mine was, it was somewhere on Main Street in Newark. I was like, dude, I haven't been in Newark in years. But that's where
Kendra
it
did it
pointed.
last night, and it didn't have a lot of information on her. She's like, I knew it. I knew they wouldn't get me, but then I did it again,
Uh-huh.
and it couldn't get anything on me.
Oh, okay.
So I think it was either
Oh, maybe
busy
I got to
or
do it
the
again.
site.
Or
Yeah, try it
something,
again.
'cause, yeah, it didn't come up with much.
But yeah, the new location will be the Painted Stave.
Yeah, definitely, man. Yeah, great guys, man. You'll see in the thing.
Yeah, and just the fact that it was just them, I thought they had other people working there as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah,
It's just the two of them, man, just
Yeah.
cranking it out.
You gotta lift up one of those giant bags of something. Those big barrels.
Dump it in.
Yeah, there's only 2 guys there. I mean,
Wow.
yeah, that's.
And the fact that's the amazing thing. The fact that place went from what it was to what it is now.
Yeah.
Two of them.
Yep.
Yeah. But so check it out. And I guess that'll do it for the destination episode.
Yeah, I think so.
All right. Well, we don't know what's next, but it'll be something. We'll keep everybody posted. In the meantime, keep checking out our daily podcast, or just check out the clips that we're posting up from it.
Yeah, or if you got a place that you want us to go to.
Let us
Yeah,
know
check
if
out
you have
that
a
we're not
place you
thinking
want us to
of.
check out. Yeah, we're just starting out with this, but let us know and we'll get in contact and get behind the scenes of your favorite place. You can send us an email at website is www.2commute.com, TWOcommute.com. Send us an email at thecommutepodcast@comcast.net, or send us a note on Facebook, The Commute, or on YouTube, The Commute Podcast, or on Twitter @DriverPassenger. Hope to see us there.